Two players from Turkish CS2 org Eternal Fire just had their contracts terminated. This could be the end of their professional careers forever, and it could actually be Valve's fault. Coming hot off of the first ever CS2 major, many fans were hoping for some sort of update to the game. For obvious reasons, Valve doesn't like to ship out game-changing patches around majors, so now would be the perfect time to test something out or show off what they've been cooking. Unfortunately for us, on the weekend, instead of getting an update, players instead found an exploit in the game's console command. One that gives you wall hacks.
Hey bro, come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Yes, as if cheating wasn't already bad enough, by opening your console and typing in a command that no longer works, I might add, you could give yourself walls.
Okay, I'm gonna get banned from FaZe probably, but... What? It works! Wait, no way. It actually... Dude, it works! Oh my god, it works!
Now, it's still unclear when this neat little feature made it into the game, or if it could have been a remnant from that nearly identical issue we saw back during the game's limited test.
I swear to God, if this crashes my shit.
Okay.
What? Wait! No! We can't tell anybody about this. What is this? I'm cheating! The command works, what?
The main difference between these two instances is that during the limited test, no one actually faced any repercussions. People had their fun, Valve quickly patched it out, and we all moved on with our lives to the next bug. This time around, it was also patched in around 24 hours, but not before multiple players were banned for using the exploit by FACEIT, including actual pros. According to Darwin, the community manager for FACEIT, they were able to actually detect players who took advantage of this command. And as a result, those players were slapped with 2-year bans from the platform, including Cyber and Deepact, two literal pro players from the Eternal Fire's Academy team. Now, first off, what does a FACEIT ban actually mean? Well, for most people, it means you simply can't use FACEIT as a platform, since they use their own anti-cheat on top of that. That being said, you are still free to play on regular matchmaking servers on the CS2 client if you avoided getting detected by VAC. In this case, it seems that no actual VAC bans were handed out for players that use the exploit, so it's not really the end of the world unless you take your FACEIT rank seriously or are actually trying to avoid playing against real hackers. 2 years is quite a while for that. Now, that being said, for Cyber and Deepact, this ban could actually be career-ending. Shortly after the bans were made public, Eternal Fire released a statement announcing they were immediately terminating both those players' contracts. Pretty hardcore, and as I can imagine, devastating for both those players. So why did Eternal Fire take such a hard stance? Well, for starters, Cyber and Deepact straight up would not be able to play in pretty much any tournament. After all, they were banned on FACEIT, whose anti-cheat is used by most tournament organizers in Counter-Strike, including ESL and Blast. Even if TOs who used their own anti-cheat allowed them to play, though I highly doubt that ever happening, the two would need to find an org willing to only play in those events. A massive step down from the Academy team for an org that just reached a major quarterfinal. Point is, they're fucked. And the whole situation sparked a large conversation discussing if the punishment from FACEIT was too harsh. Personally, I completely understand Eternal Fire's decision. They were in a tough spot given that they would literally have to bench both of them regardless. And from an optics standpoint, having anything related to cheating associated with your team should be avoided at all costs. At the same time, there are many that believe FACEIT went overboard, with analyst Pimp saying that although there should have been a punishment, one that puts an end to a career is way too far. Maui Snake essentially said people need to get real and stop looking at the topic of cheating as black and white, with many others echoing this statement.
It's a part of the game, bro. You fucking adjust your Nvidia settings, you adjust your fucking crosshair, you put CL Bob to the minimum to have the biggest edge over the opponents. Guys, if it's in the game, it's fair play.
Gabe Follower even pointed out that the ruling seems inconsistent, given that no one was punished for using that similar exploit back in the limited test, despite FACEIT already being active. In the aftermath, Cyber was on stream saying that he knows he made a mistake, and that despite only using the exploit for a couple of rounds to retaliate against an enemy cheater, he agrees that a punishment was warranted, just not one that's 2 years long.
gerçekten. Çünkü adamların kullandığını anladım ve bir daha hiçbir şekilde açmadım. EF Akademi'de oynayan bir profesyonel oyuncu olarak bu yapılan tabii ki de çok büyük yanlış. Yani ben buna hiçbir şekilde karşılık vermiyorum. Banlanmam lazımdı. Onda hiçbir sıkıntı yok. Hatalıyım yani. Bunu kabul ediyorum ama kabul edilebilir bir seviyeye indirin.
Ban okey ama bu kadar değil bir round için.
Personally, I'm a bit conflicted. Yes, it's obviously a very stupid mistake on their part to even fuck around with something that could be called a cheat, especially on Face It, which is usually taken more seriously. In a way, it shows carelessness and a lack of respect for the position they're in as professional players. At the same time, they were just messing around with something objectively silly in a game notoriously filled with bugs. Once again, you can argue that this all goes back to Valve, who, surprise surprise, patched it out with zero comment to the public. 2 players just got their careers ended, at least partially because of your broken-ass game, and you don't even give us a patch note. Now, let me be clear. I do still place almost all the blame on the players themselves. As professionals, they just simply need to be smarter than this. At the same time, I can't help but think, what if Flom and others got banned for screwing around with that exploit during the limited test? I mean, he plays professionally and for money, so what's the difference? Honestly, this is just one of those stories where I gotta hear from you guys. Do you believe that they deserve their punishment? Is Face It abusing their own power? Does Valve need to finally address this? Let me know what you think. Because I was thinking about, like, you know, content creators who were like messing around and use this. You know, like Flom, when he messed with it and he turned it on during the limited test. And nothing happened, obviously, but like, what if like for a video, you're like, oh, hey, Devin, you need to like test this out in the game and we need to get like the footage. And then I get banned. And then you guys are like, oh, sorry, you're fired. we can't associate with someone that's back banned.